Welcome to Morgan's video blog, Morgan's online blog in video format. Today I'm here to share with you my 2017 retrospective. 2017 was a year like no other for a lot of people. It was scary, stressful, and a struggle to get through. But that's not all it was. Now, I may not have ended up the year with a signed agent, but I definitely made some forward progress. I queried 31 agents, attended 2 writing conventions, including my first trip to Europe, finished my second novel, wrote a third whole novel, and revised my first novel twice. And then edited it twice because you kind of got to after revising. I even got an R&R, a revise and resubmit request, from one of the agents I queried. Now, between Balticon and WorldCon Helsinki, I hit 29 writing panels, 6 workshops, 2 presentations, 2 book launches, and 2 autograph signings, despite having to queue up for over an hour for a lot of the WorldCon ones. Plus, I met up with / made 4 new writing friends in person, and that doesn't include the dozens of people and new friends that I chat with weekly. Now, that all sounds impressive, but let's look at the numbers. What were my writing goals last year? I made sure to set SMART goals. They were specific, measurable, achievable, results-focused, and time-bound. And by January 12th of last year, I was already starting to slip. But I didn't just throw the towel in. Here are my admittedly mediocre results. 2017 goals. First quarter, January, February, March, I planned to edit my first novel with an editor and finish the rough draft of my second novel. Minimum 5K a week until it's done. I edited my first novel and finished my rough draft before January was over. Check. Second quarter. Edit my second novel, send it to beta readers, write a short story, and attend Balticon. Well, I have a confession. Since I finished that rough draft of my second novel, I haven't opened the document. So, did not edit it. Did not send it to my second novel to beta readers, and also, I didn't write any short stories in the second quarter. I did write one in October and one in December, but that's not where it was on my list. However, I did attend Balticon, so that's 1 out of 3 there. Third quarter, my goals were to revise my second novel, which we already know didn't happen, and attend some other con. Well, I think WorldCon Helsinki counted. Fourth quarter, my goals: plan my third novel, NaNoWriMo my third novel, which means writing 50 to 75,000 words in 1 month, revise my first or second novel as needed, and keep querying. Well, I planned and wrote my NaNoWriMo third novel and finished it during NaNoWriMo, which never happens because usually I write long, but my story was done in 51,000 words. And what was that about revising my first novel if needed? I got that R&R, so I had feedback about my opening. So I worked on that and revised my first couple chapters of my novel. Now, where I've really kind of wavered were my monthly goals. Post 1 book review on Amazon and Goodreads a month. I fell short. Overall, I reviewed 5.5 books. Why a half? Well, I read one in December and reviewed it in January of this year. But I did rank 25 books, which means I gave them stars, and 25 books read in 1 year is pretty solid, even if several of them were novellas. Second monthly goal: submit 3 queries for both my first novel and my picture book. I fell short. Overall, though, I queried 31 agents, which was only 5 short of my target. If you ignore the fact I'm combining totals from both books worth of queries, yeah, it's a problem. So, I have, starting this year, a new award for my top lifetime post. Posted towards the end of 2016, this post only had 53 views that year, but it became a sleeper hit and is now the main reason people who aren't already following me find my blog. In 2017, it had over 1,000 views, which, considering my average is somewhere between 30 and 70, pretty damn good, I'd say. What's this blog, you ask? The blog post in question is 10 questions to ask your beta readers. In fact, it went over so well, I submitted an edited version of this to the Insecure Writer Support Group for their essay anthology, and it was selected and was put as the opening essay in the anthology and became my first published work. You can get it for free on Kindle. So what were my top posts of 2017? Pimp My Bio for Pitch Wars, top 10 tricks for a better query letter, and confession, I've been struggling. Go to my blog if you want to see more of my top posts from this year and years prior. Social media stats. Now, I like stats and tracking progress, so on my blog, I have a lot of numbers for 2017. I tried to be both engaging and engaged, but outside of Facebook, I've been more of a creator than a consumer of content. So when you think about followers, I worked really hard to get more followers for my Twitter and my Facebook page, and I even started my own YouTube channel to get people who like vlogs. If you add up all my social media accounts, I got 3,099 followers, with over 2/3 of that being Twitter followers. But the Facebook groups are where most of my engagement is, so if I actually want more of my followers on Twitter to even see my posts, I probably need to post there more and actually reply and retweet other people's posts a little more regularly. Content. This year, I continued my streak of blogging at least once a week, and once I started my vlog, I added to that at a weekly rate as well. Now, if you look at the stats, my Goodreads stats will look a little deceptive as I added a bunch of books I'd read in years gone past when I created my account last year. So there's a huge glut of books listed as having been read last year. Some thoughts. I don't see me posting here on the blog more often unless it's just quotes or images, but I really should post to Instagram at least once a week just to keep my feet wet. And if I'm actually going to use Pinterest, I pinned 5 things this entire year. It would make sense for me to make mood boards for all the novels I'm working on, both for myself, my beta readers, and my future fans. So on the website, I have a breakdown of when I started each social media and the change in followers, posting frequency, and engagement. So in conclusion, I didn't do as much as I'd hoped. Some of the reasons were external. People who are reading your work out of the kindness of their hearts and working around their own schedules aren't necessarily going to adhere to your mental imagined schedule. Speaking of which, I'm really sorry whoever's 2-chapter critique I've been sitting on since October. I swear I'll get it to you soon. Some of my expectation management issues was the consequences of decisions. I had LASIK in April, May, which impacted the amount of time I could look at the screen physically. In fall and early winter, I applied for and got a new job that required prep time, online tests, reviewing computer languages I hadn't played with in 6 years, and a fair amount of stress. I've run 2 Facebook writer support groups and administer another one, and that takes time and energy. I have scheduled social time with friends on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and I do my blog post on Wednesday night. And I have a full weekend social schedule usually. So, what does that say? That says I'm not making my writing a priority. And even though most of the social stuff is low key, just TV time and dinner, it's still a chunk out of my evening when I typically would be writing. That's when I write, is when I get home from work. And I love my friends and family very much. You know I do, all the hearts. But I might have to have a talk with them about changing the schedule come next year. This year, actually. And some of the reasons I didn't meet my goals, clear, outright laziness. I binge watched The West Wing and cheesy Christmas movies. I spend hours looking at Facebook and playing silly online games like this koi fish catcher thing. However, I did do a lot of writing. I did more revising on my first novel than I anticipated. I started a vlog. I critiqued novels for friends and family, and even managed to read an average of just over 2 novels or novellas a month. I queried my first novel an average of more than twice a month, and my picture book 4 times. I may have fallen short of my goals, but you know what Les Brown says? Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. How well did you do on your goals for 2017? Had you given them up in January? Did you rock the bleep out of them? Or did you do okay, but think you might have done better with smart, concrete goals? Let me know, and I'll see you next week.